disco ball in the air. Pew! Hey there guys, Portalmaster here, and today I'm back with another one of my ranking videos. Today we're going to be ranking some of the Skylanders Superchargers characters. Now, note that I said some of the Skylanders Superchargers characters because I didn't think it would be fair to rank all of the Superchargers at once. And that's because in my head there are the 10 original Supercharger characters and then the 8 reposed Supercharger characters, and I think of them very, very differently. So here's what we're going to be doing. This week's ranking video, we're going to be looking at the 10 original Superchargers characters, and next week we will be looking at the 8 reposed Superchargers characters and talking about, with those characters, how much better they were than their originals, how well they re-implemented the original Skylander. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and dive in to the 10 original Superchargers and kick off this list with number 10. Bro, it's Astroblast. You thought this would be anyone other than Astroblast, because seriously, Astroblast is the most disappointing Supercharger that there is. Wow, I about threw him across the room, but that's fine, I was trying to throw him on my bed anyway. Okay, it's not that Astroblast is bad, he's just disappointing. You go from some of the most goated Skylanders of all time with the original Light and Dark characters to this thing as our next light character. Astroblast is so weak. And he just goes pew, 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 throw a disco ball in the air, pew! That's his entire character. Like, how do you like Astroblast? He's so disappointing. He's such a basic Skylander, and he doesn't capture what made the Light and Dark element special, in my opinion. And other than him having a light gun, he doesn't even seem that much in tune with the light element, especially when you consider that Drobot also shoots beams of light out of his eyes. Like, come on, man. Astroblast is just disappointing. Alright, this one is going to be a little controversial that I rated it where I did. But coming in at number 9 is actually Smash Hit. Now, some people like Smash Hit, and I'm going to tell you guys, I don't like Smash Hit for the same reason I don't like Bash. He does a lot of damage, but he's so slow, and I don't like him, and he doesn't seem like a Supercharger. I know that he's trying to seem like, you know, a big wrecking ball thing, but like, and even when you look at his character, like his vehicle, the vehicle does not match what you would think. You'd think he'd have like a crane, like a wrecking crane or something like that. But no, I just don't understand what is going on with Smash Hit. Like, yes, his chain attacks are cool, but anything and everything that involves this stupid little roly ball is just disappointing. I don't like Smash Hit, I think he's disappointing, and he ranks at number 9 for me. Alright, now coming in at number 8 is Splat, and Splat is an interesting one because when I was younger, I really liked Splat, and there's no way I would have ranked her at number 8 amongst the brand new Superchargers, but ultimately, when you're thinking back to her, you just kind of have to admit she is just a little bit meh. While I do like her abilities to sling paint everywhere and use her paintbrush as a baton, she just doesn't have the character depth and the power that we would expect for her to have, especially when you compare her with her other Supercharger colleagues, if you will. I like being able to throw around big blobs of paint, and I like being able to whack things with a paintbrush, and I like having effectively like paint bombs or whatever, but I just think she's just a little too basic for my taste. Coming in at number 7, and this one should really be showing you guys how much I like a lot of the Superchargers, because I rate this guy in the top half of all Skylanders ever, and that is Clops. Clops is such a unique and fun to play with character, and it pains me, whoops, to have to rank him as low as I did in relation to like all the other Superchargers, because he's so cool. His sonar abilities to just be able to like ping everything else like out in a and like send this wave of sonar is so cool. He's such a heavy bombardment character. He reminds me a lot of Zook when you play with him, at least with his primary ability to shoot out those gigantic rockets. I also like the ability to open his hatch and spew water, but ultimately the lack of a cool tertiary attack is probably what lands him down here at number 7, and I think if he had a better tertiary attack, I would probably put him higher up on this list. But I still think think that Clops is absolutely amazing, and that's why it pains me to put him at number 7. Coming in at number 6 is put where she is for a similar reason, and that would be Nightfall. Nightfall is leaps and bounds better than Astroblast at representing an element, an underused element. Like, you know, she embodies the dark element in a way that Astroblast does not, and I think that ultimately the character theme is what lands her above Clops. Whoops. But I threw her across the room, doesn't matter. But what lands her where she does, which would be below the other 5 Superchargers, is the lack of the strong tertiary ability. I understand that she can, like, throw out the little whips, basically, the, like, shadowy whip things, but they just don't seem super cool, and it doesn't seem as thematic as it could have been, especially when she already has the ability to do the little shadow dash and the hooks. I think she could have been better pulled off, but I still think that Nightfall is a great character, and I cannot stress that enough about the remainder of these Superchargers. Another character that earns his spot because of his tertiary attack is Highvolt, and he comes in at number 5 above Nightfall and Clops simply because of his unique character build. There are not a lot of very defensively oriented Skylanders that really use shields or heavily defensive types of mechanics. Chop Chop would be one of them with his ability to actually block things, and I would say the same is true for Highvolt. I really like this tanky defensive setup that Highvolt has, and I think that being able to use his Spark Spear and being able to use his shield are really nice, but ultimately his third ability, which actually that is the Spark Spear, sorry, that's the one where he throws his little javelin lance thing out and it can shock things, is disappointing, it's lackluster, and it doesn't have enough power behind it. I get that Highvolt is a very defensively oriented Skylander, but I do wish that he had just a little bit more power behind him than he actually does. But I think that they at least get points for trying, and that's why I put him at number 5. We're probably getting into some of the best Skylanders of all time right here, which is why it's so funny for me to put this guy at number 4 out of 10, and that would be Fiesta. Fiesta has some of the best theming of any Skylander ever released, and I stand by that. Fiesta is essentially not only one of the cool stealth Skylanders that we've seen before with the likes of like Stealth Elf and such, and some of the characters that could sneak in Swap Force. He basically is a sneak character from Swap Force because he can like pull down into his little hat and become difficult to detect. And what I love about his tertiary ability is the way that it plays off of some of his other abilities, and the fact that he is a summoner that can summon those amigos to do his bidding and help deal damage and help in the fight means that his tertiary ability is insanely useful. He can bop things with his little horn, he can go and then he can summon his amigos, not amiibos, and then shrink down into his hat and let his amigos do the work for him. He's a greatly designed character. He is so fun to play with. He lacks a little bit in the power realm, I think, from where I'd like him to be personally, but he's still a very, very strong character and a very, very fun character and has an amazing theme. Coming in at number 3 is Thrillapeed. Such a fun Skylander, and it's such a shame that for such a good character, he was so difficult to find. I consider him the Whamshell of Skylander Superchargers, a very powerful last character to be released that is so much fun to play with, and one of my favorite Skylanders of all time that is insanely difficult to get. He is a very balanced character. He's an all-around guy. He can throw his little bug bombs, wrap himself in a cocoon, and when it really comes down to it, he has so many different arms that he can just go and hit everything with, you know? Why can you not like Thrillapeed? He is such a powerhouse at range, at close proximity, and the fact that he can shield himself in the cocoon is the icing on the cake. A beautifully put together character, beautifully themed, one of the best vehicles in the entire game, by the way, and such just amazing all around. Love Thrillapeed. Then at number 2, I would be remiss not to rank this man so high, and that is Spitfire. Unfortunately, I only have Dark Spitfire, so I can't show you the original toy, but Spitfire, man, oh man, he captures the essence of a supercharger. A lot of these guys don't really capture the essence of a supercharger, and to me, a lot of them just feel like regular Skylanders that happen to have vehicles. And I can forgive them a little bit for that, but I think when you're looking at like the Trap Masters and the Swap Force and the Giants, you're kind of like, okay, these guys really are the essence of the characters they're trying to be. With the Superchargers, you don't see that as much. But with Spitfire, on the other hand, Spitfire feels like a Supercharger because he has those jet engines on his wings. He is a very fast-paced character, being able to boost himself through the level with his melee abilities and his ability to summon those little fire spirals as well. He is an amazing all-around character, very fast, very powerful at close range, powerful at distance. I don't see why you can't love Spitfire, and he is just such an icon for the Superchargers. And then, at the number 1 spot, one of my favorite Skylanders of all time, and that is Stormblade. I love Stormblade for the same reason that I love Spitfire, except kick things up a notch. The only criticism I have of Stormblade is that she does not quite radiate that Supercharger energy that I think that Spitfire does. So it was hard for me to rank those two and decide which one I thought was better. But how can you not like Stormblade? She just goes with their blades. If you like Trigger Happy, if you like Drobot, if you like any fast-paced range character, how can you not like Stormblade? But unlike some of those characters, she has mobility with her ability to fly through the sky at a rapid pace. And if you're going to say, well, Drobot can fly, straight up, Stormblade's attack deals damage, which isn't something that Drobot does until you get his Soul Gem. I love Stormblade. She's so mobile, she's so powerful, she's so fast, and she hits at a range. How could you not love Stormblade? Now, I didn't get to rank these two guys because I felt like it might be a little out of place, especially since I already have ranked the guest star characters. However, I did want to just throw a quick thing in there, is that I definitely say that Hammer Slam Bowser is better than Turbocharged Donkey Kong. I would probably rate Turbocharged Donkey Kong right around where Smash Hit is. I think he might be a little bit better, but he also might be a little bit worse. I would rate him right around where I've rated Smash Hit. And then with Hammer Slam Bowser, I would rate him above Highvolt, but below Fiesta. And I won't go much further into the details because I think these guys could be moved around. I really do love these guys as guest stars and as Superchargers, but I just felt it would be a little out of place to rank them with the rest of them, but that is roughly where I'd put them if I was going to put them in with the rest. So folks, that is all I have for you guys today. I will be back next week, or soon at least, to rank the other 8 Supercharger characters that I did not get around to ranking. Of course, that would be the reposed ones. We'll be ranking them on a slightly different criteria, mainly on how well they reimagined the original Skylander, because as you can see, Deep Dive Gilgrunt is not the same as original Gilgrunt, not even remotely. They play vastly, they're so different in the way they play, and I just want to be able to highlight that and rank them according to that. So that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. Please check down in the description below for all my social medias as well as my Discord, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks again for watching. I just wanted to take some time to thank my generous patrons on Patreon, including Haley, Adrian, WOSA, True Blue Dogemon, and AngryTedC.